This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with acclaimed jazz singer-songwriter, musician, actor, he does it all, the one and only LUKE CARLSEN. But before we get to our interview, oh, hi, Luke. I know you wanted to say hi.
Hey, good to
You get
meet
to
you.
say
Yeah.
hi. Before we get to our interview, Luke, here's a sneak peek, everyone, at Luke's incredible talent.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back the Fresh Rhythm.
I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm my lonely night. Oh, pretty baby, trust in me when I say, oh, pretty baby, don't bring me down that way. Yeah, pretty baby, now that I found you safe, let me love you, baby, let me love you. What good is melody? What good is music if it ain't possessing something sweet? It ain't the melody, no, it ain't the music. There's something else that makes this tune complete. Say it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Oh, it don't mean a thing. All you got to do is sing, yeah. Sing, 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 sing. Everybody's got to sing. Now you're singing with a swing. Sing, 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 sing. Everybody's got to sing. Oh, you're singing and you're swinging. Yeah, you're singing and you're swinging. Oh, you're singing and you're swinging now. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, hello, Luke. How are you?
I'm doing so well today. How are you doing?
Luke, doing so much better now that we are finally meeting. I love that we know people in common. You are on the left coast. I am on the right coast, but we got a little sneak peek of your 12-piece big band, Fresh Rhythm. I want to know first and foremost the impetus behind you creating your own big band. When did that happen? And yeah, how did it all come about for you?
My girlfriend's brother-in-law is a songwriter at Sony Publishing, and he came out to my show at Vibrato, which is a really bougie club in Bel Air that Herb Alpert started. And Herb Alpert ran A&M Records before it was sold to Universal for an unseemly amount of money. So he has enough money to do whatever he wants and started this great jazz club. And I invited my girlfriend's brother-in-law, Blake, over, and he saw the band. He's like, I love this. Sony needs some new versions of Sing, 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 and You Don't Mean a Thing. And I said, that sounds great. I'd love to do it. But at that time, I was only a five-piece, or I only had a quintet. So I said, let me make this bigger so it sounds better, and I'll get back to you in a few months. And after that, we just started playing gigs and did our recordings, and that was that.
I love it, Luke.
Did that for 4 years.
That's amazing. I mean, and look,
Yeah.
I am an old soul. I know that you've probably been told that yourself. Told you off camera. I performed many, many years with my twin brother. And before
Yeah.
we were singing the originals that he's written, we were singing American Songbook, classic Broadway standards. I mean, this was the music in my house while everyone was listening to Madonna and New Kids on the Block. I want to know, was this
Same here,
the
man.
same thing for you?
Yeah, same here. That the parents were listening to that, to Nat King Cole and Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald. So that's exactly it. Are you from the East Coast
I
originally?
am.
As
Are
well?
you? Where are you from?
No, no. My mom's from the East Coast though. She's from D.C.
Oh, I
So
love it. Yeah, I was
my
born in Brooklyn, raised right outside of Manhattan. How about you?
my grandfather was born in Brooklyn, and yeah, he grew up around the same time Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra were coming up. So he really got into it, and then passed that down to my mom. And then I was born in South Dakota randomly. My dad is from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and he met my mom in DC and conned her into moving to Sioux Falls from DC.
Who has a voice? Does your mom or dad have a good singing voice?
They both do, actually. Yeah, they never did anything professionally with it. They went into business, but I really had more teachers there that encouraged me, and they said, "Hey, this your son. He's actually good. He's got a knack for it. He's just a little guy, but you should see what happens with this." And they just kind of ran with that. And I think that's kind of true of all parents. They just throw their kids at things and see what works, and that was just my thing.
Absolutely. I can relate totally, Luke. Well, listen, I want to know, this has been obviously a tough time for all humans, especially artists. How have you been able to keep your creative juices flowing throughout this? God, we're going on year 2.
First thing, yeah, I hadn't really done an EP before, so I made a decision pretty
You
early
had
on
the
to
time.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I knew a guy who's the arranger for the Chainsmokers, Patrick Tully, and we were buddies. And I just told him, you know what? I'm not really doing anything. So you want to produce this? And he's like, yeah, I do. That sounds great. I'm not really doing that much right now either because the Chainsmokers kind of went on lockdown. And my buddy Pablo Raciel, who's done some cabaret shows in New York and used to live in New York for a time, uh, told me about this home studio of this guy named Nolan Shahid, who used to work with Stevie Wonder. He was the trumpet player for them, and he played lead for Count Basie back in the day. And he has this awesome home studio with the Hammond B3 organ, and everything was isolated, so we felt safe. And he's very also super generous because he's like a 70-year-old guy, so he doesn't charge a lot. So I thought, hey, this sounds good to me. Let's do it. And that really, I think made me a better arranger because I didn't really arrange much before that. And yeah, it gave me something to look forward to while we were on lockdown. And then thankfully gigs I think started coming back around this time, March last year, but it was pretty spotty. There's just the occasional private gig here and there for that first year of the pandemic. And it hasn't really shut down too much since then, except for around New Year's. This year, almost every one of my friends had their New Year's Eve gig canceled. Thankfully, ours went through, and I think this month has been a little tough. I'm only going to do private gigs until this variant passes. But I think we're at the beginning of the end.
I think so too. I think it's going to become an endemic, but thank goodness New Year's.
It's definitely an endemic. Yeah, yeah.
Well, and I'm also grateful, I'm so happy that your New Year's gig went forward. And also, you mentioned how you got to fine tune your arranging skills. And I think for a lot of artists during this time, the upswing seems to be the fact that there were some skills maybe in your tool belt that you might not have had the chance or the time to find.
That's totally. So there was more time to get better at things that I didn't think I was very good at, and still probably not very good at, but but at least I know what
Luke,
I want to improve.
At least you tried.
Yeah.
Listen, Luke.
That's right.
Before we get to my final question, I want to let the audience know, for more on the amazing Luke Carlsen, you can read about him all over his social media, the videos online. You're a throwback, but you're also a throw forward, Luke. You are taking the vibe of time gone by, but making it digestible for a 21st century audience in a really elegant, beautiful way. And I'm curious to know, what advice would you give to kids who, like us, were brought up on all of these great tunes, this vibe, and want to pursue, this great American songbook?
I'd say even if somebody wants to be a songwriter or a hip hop artist, it's still a good idea to at least study Irving Berlin and George Gershwin or Cole Porter. Just check out what they were doing with their lyrics and their chord progression, because I think a lot of the music today is so far removed from that. And
Yes.
if you put some of that old school spin into your music, it's going to sound fresh. And it's yeah, I think it's going to sound more surprising too because it hasn't been heard in a long time. And I think that's what generates hits. Personally,
Absolutely.
it's something that's surprising.
And talk to me about your original tunes. I mean, are there any that you're currently working on that you're excited to be releasing sooner rather than later?
I wish I could tell you about this more, but I can't until a deal goes through. So sorry, but I will get back to you on that. But yeah, I am working on something pretty big. I just can't talk about it
Oh, I love when you can have those showbiz moments where you can't talk about it.
yet.
Um,
Yeah.
listen,
Well, you also, if the deal falls through, it's better not to say anything. But
that's
when
right.
when I get confirmation, I will definitely tell you.
I love it, Luke. Well, listen,
Yeah.
I'm so excited you're coming on board this exciting new social media platform, but also I'm so excited that we're now connected, Luke. You're an amazing talent, really, and it's so great to meet you.